respected Vice Principal Sir, teachers, honorable judges, and all those present here today. My name is Divyani Pradhan. I am representing Zongri House, and I hope you will allow me to narrate the short piece titled, "But What If I Run Out of Oxygen?" Now, I will begin. I hope you will entertain my incessant rambling about a piece of literature that I enjoy, written by Anton Chekhov, titled The Black Monk. And like every story, we have a main character, of course, and our main character for today is Corvin. Corvin, who like all of us is human. He's a man. And unlike all of us, he was touched by a spark of so-called divine genius. But like all of us, he was shackled by the omnipresent burden of wants. He wants, you want, I want, we all want. Has it not been instilled in us from a young age that we should chase our dreams, shoot for the stars, and go after those seductive promises of chosenness, of specialness, of greatness? Do we not all long to be special? Special? But if we all want to be special, what is so special about it? We're so disillusioned by this special that we forget that it is this longing to be special that is what makes us exactly like everyone else. And from Corvin, our beloved main character, we can learn that ambition and the search for greatness without thinking has a price. Ambition is not only a booster, it is also a curse. And now let me begin. First, in this story, we have a garden. And we all have gardens, do we not? We have gardens with the most vicious weeds, and the most fragrant roses, and the most prickly porcupines. And we must cherish these gardens, must we not? Must we not cherish these gardens? But a garden is simply not a garden. A garden is our life, a garden is our bonds. Must we not cherish those bonds? What is a life without a garden? What is a life without these bonds? What is a life without the people around us? What is the life without the people we love? What must we do to chase this uncertain success with the risk of trampling over our wonderful garden? Was it not ambition that brought Macbeth to his doom? Was the warning against hubris not the tragedy of every Greek tale? And was every dead body in Mount Everest not an absurdly ambitious person? And now we have life, and love. Those words go together, do they not? To live is to love, and to love is to live. And when we talk about love, many people laugh, and don't you dare laugh, for what is love? Love is the trees that give us oxygen. Love is the trees that give us oxygen day after day, night after night. But do we ask for this oxygen? Very few of us even notice it. But that is love. It is unseen and unspoken, but it is there. Love is the anchor that holds us when we are adrift. Love is what calms us when the storms rage within. Love is the secret recipe to your favorite food. Masupat. We love love. But do we appreciate love? Is love infinite? Is love infinite? Love is not infinite, and our main character had to realize it. He was loved by a father-in-law and a wife, as both a husband and a son. But he pushed it away. He was delusioned that he was meant for something greater. And what was that greater? What was that greatness? As Corvin laid, he laid alone. He laid with a smile. Not a smile of happiness, a smile of delusion. A smile that he had done something wonderful, and how wonderful it was to lay alone in your bed with nothing to show for yourself, with no one to care for you. For what is life without love, and what is love without life? What is life without bonds? What is a garden without flowers? And now I hope I will tell you, love is oxygen, oxygen is life, life is love. Now I will hope to tell you all, are you cherishing your gardens? Are you appreciating your oxygens? And please don't forget to breathe. Thank you very much.
Teachers and my dear friends, today I, Sonam Shukshan, representing Carpenter House of 12 Humanities, will be speaking on the topic of defined reckoning. This speech is spoken in Shakespearean vein and is self-composed. This speech is also spoken from the perspective of Icarus, a figure from Greek mythology who flew too close to the sun with his wings made of feather and wax. His story is often told as a cautionary tale about ambition, a story against defying limits. But some people see it differently, not just as a tragedy, but as a moment of defiance. Icarus didn't just fall, he flew, even for an instant. And in that sense, his story isn't about failure, but about the cost of daring greatly.
Silence, ye tarnished mongrels, ye tepid souls who paint my flight in hues of folly. They who name me fool for scorching in thy sight. Yet, who art thou to damn my daring flight? Didst thou feel the wax grow taut against flesh as Crete's grim towers shrunk to specks below? No. Ye only cluck your tongues and scribble, here lies the boy who scorched his own pride. But mark me, pride is what ye lack, not I. Thou hollow heavens, which hear thy rebels cry, ye gods who chain the bold, mark for how I die. You see the sun and I, we danced as lovers true. The sea, a jealous wench who craved my wings, she roared, she grasped, yet never tasted my flight. These waxen bones still whisper of a kiss. That golden siren still singing me to bliss. And oh, her song undid me. What are chains to the one who's brushed the firmament? What are kings to the one who's kissed the sun? The wax did weep, nay, melted into gold, and for one blasphemous, breathless instant, I held eternity. Father of cages Daedalus, master of the near, not too high, he pleaded, not too low, as if the sky were some dull ledger's line. It is thou who built thy bars, and I shook them. Here, oh here, thy hands that created safe and careful descent still twitch with dreams of air thou well never spent. Go on then, preach your moderation still. Cower neath your thatch of oughts and shoulds. But when the wind begs thee to leap, remember, I flew before I fell. Mark this, Tassignel. All men are born to plummet or to pine, yet none shall burn as gloriously as mine. Have it written on thy meager grave. Thank you.
I am XII, and today I stand here not just as a student, but as someone who has seen the troubling truth about our society. Well, you see, every day we are surrounded by real-life heroes. And although they don't wear capes or do they have Instagram verification badges, I say that it is about damn time that they finally get the recognition they deserve. So, let's proceed with part 1 of my speech, aka I call it The Great Life of Being Sold. Alright, audience, listen and better buckle up, because what I'm about to say isn't just a rant. It is a full-blown intervention for society. You know, if you look at it, we live in a society where a celebrity's breakfast order trends for 3 days straight, whereas a nurse who works a 24-hour shift saving lives, she is not trending. And her greatest reward after doing all of this is a simple sign which says, heroes work here. We live in a society where teachers, they are paid in simple words like, you're shaping the future, or you're doing a great job, while athletes, they sign contracts worth more than small countries just because they play a small sport for entertainment. And you know what's funny? Our society gives more attention and more fame to a TikToker who is doing a simple renegade dance challenge. Just, that is society, okay? And they just ignore the scientists who just actually found a cure for the disease. And now, I don't know about how you all feel about this, but I am done. So now, who is actually spinning the society? Well, we have the teachers. You know, these people, they are the real MVPs, not some person who has a blue check mark in social media. You know, these teachers, they turn students from, I don't get it, to, it's supposed to be that way. Finally, I understood. You know, these teachers, they play a major role in transforming a student's life. Next, we have doctors and nurses. They work shifts longer than the Lord of the Rings trilogy, just to be rewarded by a simple sign saying, heroes are working here. And that too, if they are lucky. And wow, man, that is simply inspiring for all these future doctors and nurses out here. And next we have the farmers. You know, they grow the food that we so casually Instagram, while we forget the fact that without them or their hard work, we'd be surviving. No, we would be on the brink of starvation itself. And we also have some more people like these sanitation workers. These people deal with our trash literally so that we don't have to drown in it. Yet, they get treated like non-playable characters in the video game of life. That is how society treats them. Society looks down upon them. Meanwhile, who does society really worship? Well, we have the A-list actors whose complaint is about making only $10 million per movie. And then we have the influencers. Oh, don't even get me started with them. You know, they get paid to just hold up a protein shake and say, this changed my life. And guess what? No. Spoiler alert, it did not change anyone else's lives. And then we have the reality TV stars whose talent is to just simply exist loudly. You know, they are like the human car alarms that never turn off. Now let's talk about today's generation and the money trap. Maximum of today's generation, 80 to 90% of the kids want to be doctors or engineers. And that's great, you know, you're contributing to our society, our economy. And I also know that some of you all are genuinely passionate about saving lives or building bridges. And that's great. You guys should follow your passions and dreams and be good. But let's be real. Maximum of you all just saw the paycheck and went, oh yeah, I'm gonna go for that one, right? So that is what society is. And what I'm trying to say is, don't let it all go to waste. If you're really in for the money, then why study, huh? Just skip your coding college, skip your med school, just become an actor or an influencer, then all your money is gonna flow in really easily. I mean, think about it. Doctors, they spent years in medical school just to get yelled at by their patients who Googled up their symptoms. And then we have the engineers. They stay up late till night, sacrificing their sleep and peace just for what? Just so some CEO can take all the credit. And that is not just fair, it is insanity. And I say that we demand that the real heroes get the spotlight, not just some knockoffs. So next time there is someone or there is a news saying, breaking news, celebrity wins Oscar for his role as a surgeon in the movie The Hospital, Riot, man, I mean, come on. Or at least tweet, hashtag, but what about the actual surgeons? Or if a scientist finds a cure for a disease, I say their faces should be on billboards and cereal boxes and not some actor who just played a scientist in a movie. That is just irrelevant. No connection between the two. And one more thing, teachers, they should be trending more than hashtag mob wife aesthetic, because let's be for real, without education, we'd all be dumb idiots. And my final thought is, I say that we have all been brainwashed into thinking that fame equals to value or value equals to fame. Well, no! Value is a teacher who stays up late till night preparing presentation topics. They sacrifice their free time creating PPTs. And for whom? For us students. Value is the firefighter who runs in a burning building while everyone else runs out. This firefighter is risking his life just so he could save someone else's lives. That is called value, my people. And value is a single mom working 3 jobs just to keep her kids fed, while some trust fund kid gets famous. Why? Because he doesn't know how to do laundry. So what I need to say is these people deserve the respect. They deserve the parades and to not be made fun of compared to those celebrities and those influencers. So next time, if we can spend our time watching people unbox toys and packages on YouTube and Instagram, we can absolutely make sure that the people who deserve it, the real people who are working hard for the society to keep running, they get the pay, the respect, and the recognition they deserve. Thank you.
Esteemed teachers in the audience, and my hopefully enthusiastic friends and juniors present here. Today, I, Nima Lucky Sherpa of Class 12B, will be reciting a monologue delivered by the character Farina from the act of the opera of Neusser and Dunser, as Farina realizes that a heartfelt and honest goddess is not what the people want. Instead, what they want is a flagrant and flamboyant deity. So, she changes herself to adhere to their tastes. Open quote. Okay. This is the first time good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Opera Epiclis, and I'm sure you've all heard of how I've become the new Hydro Archon, and yes, it is I, Farina de Fontaine, your new Hydro Archon, and in truth, I will be honest, I am not well versed with the concept of becoming a new god. And as Focalors, the god of justice, I promise that I will lead you all into an age of glory, of fairness, of justice. And if you have any suggestions, queries, please send them to the Maison Cardinalis, because the future of Fontaine, requires us to work together and yes. That bit's done. I conveyed my thoughts properly. I didn't stammer as much as I thought. Okay, but why are there whispers? People keep looking at me. They're all looking at me and right. Mirror me said that I just need to be the god that people imagine, the god that people think. I have to pretend to be a god. Right. Okay, Farina, think. What is a god like? What do people imagine a god to speak and act like? Yes! Assertive. Someone with a strong presence. Someone who can dispel all doubt. That is the character that I am fated to play. Very, very funny indeed. Indeed. Well, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day stand on this stage and lay claim to this opera house, would the children of Fontaine follow them? Well, it seems that you all would see right through them. And you have passed my test. Therefore, you are all now qualified to witness wondrous trials alongside my august self here in this opera house. Well, you may consider my previous act a debut of sorts. I thought it was a door gift that simply suited the atmosphere. Now then, let us be reintroduced, my people. Whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, my people, keep your faith in your ardor for justice. We have heard it that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, I say that justice blooms most fragrant among sin. Well, among sin we lie, and it is our sin that flows in these rivers and waters. All that is needed for you, my dear people, is to believe in it, heart and soul. May law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. May we light the fires and drink to the future of Fontaine. And as we progress yonder towards this new period, I would like you all to know that as long as I, Archon Farina, stand within the Opera Epiclese, as long as I, Archon Farina, stand in front of the oratories, I shall even longer judge the gods of this world. Thank you.
It is only the dead who have seen the end of war. Unquote. Plato. A very good afternoon, respected Vice Principal, sir, panel of judges, teachers, and my fellow audience. Today I, Tashi of Class 12A, representing Carpeting House, stand before you to deliver a monologue titled Eternity. This monologue is about a woman who lies in the heart of Gaza, where war paints the sky in fire, fury, and sorrow. Her voice, once chaotic, now rises, not in survival, but in the quiet acceptance of fate. Eternity. Do you hear it? Do you hear it? The deafening roar of silence. It is the sound of a land stripped of laughter, of a home reduced to rubble. And you ask me how I feel. You ask me how I feel, what I think, and how I endure. But let me ask you, how would you feel if the sky itself seemed to conspire against you, shattering your homes, your dreams, your very breath? How would you think if every step outside meant daring fate, and every step inside meant waiting and waiting and waiting for your walls to betray you? This blood seeping from my side is no mere liquid. It is the ink in which war writes its unholy verses. Ladies and gentlemen, this bed, this pile of debris is no ordinary resting place. It is a stage. It is a stage upon which humanity performs its final and broken act, death. Do you see the stars? I ask you, do you see the stars? Because I see them. Every last one, even if my eyes grow dim. And they're there, and they're mocking me, you know. They're mocking me by shining so defiantly while we fade into the shadows. They even whisper, hope.
as if hope were anything but cruel, an ember burning just enough for us to dream, but never enough to ignite. And yet somehow you speak of audacity. In fact, we are audacious creatures because we speak of peace, of justice, and of freedom. But your words, they are hollow, and your promises, they are stale. I have seen my brothers being carried to their graves with their eyes still wide open, staring at a horizon they will never be able to reach. I have seen the sky conspire against us, raining fire instead of mercy, and yet I remain. Do you hear me? I remain. My land, it bleeds. The cries of my people, it echoes in silence. But no, this mere anguish shall not be mistaken for weakness. For it is the spark that feeds our fire. It is the pulse that drives our fight to rebuild when the ground beneath us begins to crumble. We have learned to stand against tides that would swallow us whole, and to hold on to hope, and hope only when despair threatens to drown us. Rivers are eternal. They defy boundaries, carve their path through soil and stone, and they embrace persistence. I was once the river, fierce and unyielding, but we forget that rivers, timeless as they seem, they have their limits. Their currents tire, their strength wanes, and ultimately they surrender to the vastness of the ocean. Today, as the sun dips below the horizon, painting the skies with hues of parting, I declare to the world that I am not lost. I am not gone. I have just merely become the tide. Thank you.
Fetal personhood is a conservative concept that pushes to codify the dangerous idea that from the moment of fertilization, an embryo or a fetus is legally recognized as a person with constitutional rights, and thus abortion is illegal. Is this pro-life? Good afternoon, respected Vice Principal Sir, judges, teachers, and my fellow students. Today I, Rimila Bhutia of Class 12 Humanities representing Funson House, will be performing Personhood, written by Lauren Zuniga. My grandfather tells me all beet red cheeks and puff chest that he is pro-life. Because my mother would not have been born if Roe v. Wade had happened before 1959. We're at the dinner table. Fox News gurgles from the other room. I have lost my appetite. I say that's true, Grandpa. It is also true that I would not have been born if my mother had safe access to abortion prior to her pregnancy with me. My daughter would not have been born if she was made of the sperm that was forced into me at 17 years old. Just then, Rick Santorum chimes in from the other room. Women who are molested should learn how to make the best of a bad situation. Rick Santorum would not have been born if his mother had known how entitled he was going to be. So, dear senators and representatives of Oklahoma, Mississippi, Virginia, Colorado, you want to legislate personhood, and I for one think that is a fantastic idea. Let's hang person signs on the 408,000 children currently in foster care. Let's give person papers to the undocumented workers keeping your lawns so emerald green. Let's give personhood to gay couples who just want to marry the person they love. Let's build person-sized suits of armor for the transgender people just trying to fit into a culture that refuses to recognize them. Let's write in huge, bold letters, "You are a person." On the walls of inner-city high schools, on the prison cells and tombs of soldiers killed for oil, let's give them the gift of personhood. To every woman, tell them your body is not a battleground, your wound not a campaign promise, your bedroom not artillery. See, it is true that some of us would not have been born if choice had been an option for our mothers. It is also true that there are children who don't have clean drinking water. 100,000 children were kidnapped and forced into an army in Uganda, told across their chests with holy water to protect them from bullets. Tell me that their lives are as important as a fetus. See, I think most Americans think that legislators were hired to make laws for the people that already exist. But I think that most Americans don't wake up in the morning and think about when life begins. They think of how to pay their mortgage, how to pay for their children's class pictures, uniforms, braces, leukemia. They think how to sit across the dinner table from a man born rich in a small town in Arkansas who believes exactly the opposite of everything you know to be true and say, "Grandpa, you are a person, but you will never need to pass a bill to prove it." Thank you.
I, Titan Lamobutia from Class 12B, representing Yuxam House, will be delivering a piece titled A Mother's Plea. This piece is a powerful monologue from a mother who wants to protect her son from war. A Mother's Plea. You ask me why I hid him, why I barred the door when the soldiers came, pounding with their polished boots and clipped orders. Why I asked my son to crouch in the cellar, to hold his breath, as if silence might save his life. You ask me as though it were a sin. He is 17. 17, with fingers that still tremble when he writes, eyes that still look for stars in the sky, not flares in the dark. He is no soldier. He is my son. You say the nation called him, but I ask you, what nation is this? What nation is this that calls for children to die? What motherland feeds on the blood of her young and calls it glory? What flag is worth the lives of boys barely grown? He was born in pain and joy and light. I remember his first cry. I remember how small his hands were, how fierce his will even then. I watched him learn to speak, to stumble, to laugh, to question. And now you take him, to train him, not to think, but to obey, not to feel, but to fire. No, I will not give him. You say I have broken the law, but there are laws older than your decrees. There are truths deeper than your uniforms. There is the truth of a mother's arms around her child, the truth of life over death, and I chose that truth. I raised him to build, not to burn. I raised him to ask, why? Not to nod in silence. I raised him to dream of orchards, not battlefields, of books and bridges, not bayonets. And now you say I have betrayed you? No. You have betrayed us. You who send sons into slaughter while you sit behind your polished desks. You who speak of sacrifice while your own sons sleep in safety. You who turn boys into weapons and call it patriotism. So yes, I hid him. I told him to be still. I prayed the footsteps would pass. I do not regret it. Let your judges write down my name in their books. Let them call me a coward, traitor, rebel. I care not. For I am not afraid of your prisons. I am only afraid of graves carved too soon. And if I must fall so that he may rise, then I fall gladly. Because I did not raise my son to die for your war. I raised him to live for peace, for truth, for tomorrow. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my only crime. Thank you.
Being here today and sharing an experience that has been one of the most defining moments of our lives. I, along with Praveen Kumar Naidu, had the incredible opportunity to be a part of the Viksit Bharat 2047 Young Leaders Dialogue in Delhi. And trust me when I say, it was much more than just an event. It was a celebration of ideas, a call to action, and a living example of what our generation is capable of. Let me begin by telling you what Viksit Bharat is. Viksit Bharat is the vision of a developed, empowered and inclusive India by the year 2047, when we celebrate 100 years of independence. But the beauty of this vision lies in who is driving it. It's not just some policy makers or leaders in office, it's the youth. The vision believes in the energy, creativity, and the resilience of young Indians.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here to walk you through the inspiring and competitive journey that led us to the Viksit Bharat Young Leaders Dialogue 2025. The selection process began with an open quiz round accessible to all the Indian youth aged 15 to 29 years. From the first round, a staggering 45 lakh young minds qualified to move on to the blog writing competition. And following the blog round, the competition intensified with a state-level presentation competition, from where only 21 participants were selected to represent Sikkim at the National Youth Festival, under the prestigious banner of the Viksit Bharat Young Leaders Dialogue 2025. And then came a truly special moment for all of us. On the 7th of January, just before we left for the National Youth Festival, we were honored with a send-off program at Raj Bhavan, organized by none other than the Governor of Sikkim himself. Naisha was selected to represent the Sikkim contingent in front of the Governor Sir. Our selection and the send-off program were proudly featured in the leading local daily, Sikkim Express.
One of the most unforgettable moments was the opportunity to speak in front of a national audience. Each of us was placed into thematic tracks based on our interest and the ideas we proposed. There we developed practical strategies, challenged our assumptions, and learned to think beyond limits. And just when we thought the experience couldn't get more impactful, the third day raised the bar to another level. The Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi himself, graced the event, and we had the rare opportunity to interact with him. And when he spoke, it wasn't just about big policies or national goals. It was about us. He spoke to us as national leaders, as change makers. We also got to witness a powerful panel discussion between Mr. Anand Mahindra and Ms. Palki Sharma, which made us reflect deeply on how we as youth must be proactive participants in building the India we want to live in.
As the National Youth Festival came to an end, our journey didn't end there, it evolved. Next came the Northeast Youth Festival, and this time the spotlight was on our home turf, Sikkim. Hosting the vibrant celebration was a moment of pride as we welcomed teams from all the 7 sister states. There, we were honored to be felicitated by the Honorable Chief Minister Sir, Shri Prem Singh Tamam, the Minister of Education and the Minister of Health.
And I must also take a moment to recognize my partner in this journey, Praveen Kumar Naidu, who is acknowledged as the youngest youth coordinator from our state. So what did we take away from all of this? More than anything else, we realized that Vikasit Bharat is not exclusive. It's not about where you come from, how fluent you are, how much marks you scored, or which city you grew up in. It's about your intent, your passion, and your willingness to make a difference. Vikasit Bharat isn't just a vision written in a document. It's a call to action, and it's being answered by young people across the country. This experience proved one thing. The youth are not just the future. We are the force that will make India Vikasit. It's our ideas and our commitment that will develop the next chapter of this nation. As we reflect on this journey, we feel incredibly grateful for the opportunity and the learning. Thank you so much.
Awaited results have just arrived. We now invite Vice Principal Sir to come on stage and present the awards. Third position goes to Sonam Shukchen with 91 points. Congratulations. Second position goes to Chiten Lamabudia of Yuksam House with 93 points. Congratulations. And the best speaker for today is, any guesses? Ishana Bosnat from Zonri House with 100 points. Congratulations.
The third position goes to Zongri House with 172 points. The third position goes to Yuksam House with 172 points. The second position goes to Zongri House with 179 points. And the first position goes to Karpana House with 181